PR Connections Radio presents. This episode of Thinking into Results is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
I guess you can be very successful without one, and probably some people do. But I would not have accomplished anywhere near what I have accomplished without a mentor. I have had a number of mentors, and my whole life has changed dramatically. I went from going nowhere to having a business that operates all over the world. If you want to win in a big way, you want to get a mentor. It's almost like getting a direct pipeline from their mind to your mind, where you're gaining all their wisdom, all their experience, and all the studying that they've done over a number of years. And like that, you get it all in a short period of time. Are mentors important? Well, I'm going to tell you, mentors literally changed the course of my life. Let's take a look at what thinking into results is and what it could do for you, how it came about. You see, my life had changed dramatically. I went from earning nothing to earning over $1 million a year. And I was sitting one day and I was thinking, how did all this happen? Do you know, I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I was studying Earl Nightingale's material. But a lot of people have read those books and studied Earl's material. And they weren't accomplishing what I was accomplishing. So I had to ask myself, what am I doing so different? You see, I had been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. I was earning over $1 million a year, and I didn't think I was that bright. I was also raised to believe if you don't go to school, you can't win. Well, I hadn't gone to school. I went to high school for about 2 months. I didn't have a good job. I owned the entire company. If you want to be happy, healthy, and prosperous, it's all here. Thinking into results is going to show you how to get it. If what I've said really triggered something in your mind and you're thinking maybe, contact the certified PGI consultant, hit the button, leave the information, do yourself a favor, sit down and talk to them about what this program can do for you. This very well could be the decision that will change the rest of your life.
Thank you, Bob. Welcome to Thinking in Results, presented by S&J Mentoring. Our motto is, we show you how to, I apologize, we show you how to accomplish your dreams. I'm Sid Maestre. I'm certified consultant with Thinking in Results, and my partner here, co-host John Gage, is a trained voice actor and a longtime student of Thinking in Results.
Yes.
And we have a very exciting show for you today. Specialization, becoming the expert in your niche. So, John, you can kick it off and give us some ideas.
Well, thank you, Sid. First off, everybody, we want to apologize. We're having some technical difficulties. That's the reason for the late start. So what is specialized knowledge? And how does it fit into this whole thing? We as a people have what's known as generalized knowledge. We know a little bit about everything, and once in a while we know a lot about something. But that makes it difficult for us to start a business, makes it difficult for us to understand how to go after our goals, because sometimes we don't even know what our goals are until we understand what our knowledge base really is, or what we want to learn about, what we're passionate about. And specialized knowledge is a continuous form of learning, um, but like general knowledge doesn't lead to your goals. It usually will help you as you're approaching your goals and moving towards your goals, but it doesn't get you there. And with specialized knowledge, you're going to take whatever your niche is, whatever it is that you enjoy doing or you want to learn about doing or you want to make your business or your passion. Because sometimes we know several people that are very good at their job. I happen to be good at the job that I work at, but it's not my niche. It's not what I want to do. It's not what I'm passionate about. And I don't put as much learning into it as I do doing this. And having that specialized knowledge in your niche helps you obtain your goal, whether it be money or whether it be, something that just gives you pleasure, or maybe it's a weight goal. Learning about what helps you obtain your goal is going to be what's going to help you obtain your goal. Like losing weight is one of my goals. It's written down. I have started learning immense amount of knowledge concerning health, wellness, how food works in your body, and how supplements work in your body. And I know more than my doctor. I started talking to my doctor, and he's like, "I have no clue." I mean, you have those issues too, don't you, Sid? I mean, you run into those things periodically when you actually know more than the expert in the field, which a doctor's supposed to be. Would you agree with that?
Oh yes, I've encountered a number of things, supplements that I take, and if I ask about it,
Mm-hmm.
they don't know anything about it, and they're only interested in any prescriptions I might be taking.
Yeah,
And I think that's how they're trained.
yeah, and it's like, but I want to learn what I need to eat. What can help me with that? And it's a learning process. And I know we talk about the Think and Grow Rich because this is where these steps come from, and that's where thinking into results come from. But Bob mentioned something in this little talk that we hear every time before we start, that his education was what, Sid? You want to tell that story a little bit? What about his
Yeah,
education?
yeah. He says he was too.
The man
He
that's
said
not
he was.
educated. Go ahead.
He said he was 2 years in high school,
Yeah.
uh, but he was 26 years old when someone gave him Think and Grow Rich. And his story is that I owed $6,000 and I was only earning 4,000. And all I thought about was money. I had no idea what to do, but I was thinking about it. And his friend Ray Stanford gave him the book, told him to read it every day, and also gave him a gold card, told him to write down on it what he wanted. So Bob writes $25,000. And as he tells the story, I didn't believe it, but Ray believed I could do it. So I believe Ray's belief. And to make this shorten the story, all of a sudden his ears perk up and he's hearing the people talking about businesses. And he hears someone say there's money cleaning offices. And Bob says, I'm not proud. So he went out and got the equipment. And the bottom line was in a couple years, he was earning millions, and he was in 3 countries and 6 cities. Toronto, his home, Montreal, Cleveland, Boston, Atlanta, and then London. He was in London because he liked to go there, so he just thought he might as well open another branch.
Why not?
But I want to share the story of a young man that just graduated from college, and this happened in the 30s because the Think and Grow Rich was published in 1937.
And this
And,
story it's also in the Depression era, isn't it?
oh yes,
Yeah.
So I don't know what field he was interested in, but his mother sent him to the library to do some research and find out what about a particular industry that he wanted to work in. And he found 6 companies, and he studied what they were doing and picked one of them. And she prepared, I want to say, a resume, but it's more like a binder, number of pages. And he had some ideas that could help this company. He was hired the same day and started at a position three levels higher than starting out. That would have taken him normally 10 years to get there. He became became an expert in that industry and knew that company and made a difference. So I think you have a story. I love that story.
Yeah.
Matter of
And
fact, in, John, just a moment here, it just occurred to me, in this day and age, when you meet someone that you want to do business with, you're going to go to LinkedIn or Facebook, and learn something about them and their company, and vice versa. They're going to check you out, and so we've got it at our fingertips, being able to uh,
yeah,
meet
they're
people and know something about their business before we sit down with them.
and you can do an internet search on just about any business now and learn about it, and it become a semi expert on it before you even start. Um, but what you don't have to have a lot of schooling is my point. You don't have to be a high school graduate. You don't have to be a college graduate. Now, in the case of your story, he was, and Bob was a high school dropout. Um, the person I'm going to talk about didn't even get to sixth grade. He could barely read and write. And they even took him to court. He had this big business, this huge business, and he was taken to court because his competition didn't think he was competent enough to run his own company, which, and I'm very much summarizing the story. It's much longer than that. And they were talking about the fact that he didn't know what he was talking about. And he tells the judge and the jury, he says, "Why do I need to know that?" He says, "I have a staff of experts. If I want to know something specific and I want to know something from whatever it may be, I push a button. The person comes in, I ask the question, they give me the answer. I don't need to know it because I have people who do know it." So you don't necessarily have to be an expert, but you have to be smart enough to know who those experts are to retain the information. And the person I'm talking about is Henry Ford. He was he was quite he was illiterate almost, wasn't he, Sid? I mean, if I remember correctly, he had very little schooling. And
I
his
think he
dream
might have
was
made it to the
sixth
John.
grade.
I think he made it to the fifth. Well, fifth or sixth.
Yeah, I know it wasn't. I know he wasn't. He didn't get to high school, but he was smart enough to surround himself with people that knew things. He would attend masterminds with Thomas Edison and Carnegie, and these people, he would ask questions and say, "I'm having this problem. Oh, well, I would solve it this way." These are people in different industries. So he not only knew to talk to smart people, he knew to talk to smart people that ran other businesses and maybe even potentially use their method of business within his own. And the mastermind is one of the best ways to obtain knowledge and become an expert. And because when you have questions and you have issues, you can talk to other people and you can get the knowledge you need to move forward and correct these issues, or maybe even solve a problem that seems to be unsolvable, because sometimes that just happens. I mean, like Carnegie, he was one of these people that he believed in the mastermind, and he believed in doing and seeking knowledge. As a matter of fact, he was, well, you know his story a little better than I do. So why don't you tell us a
Yeah.
little about Carnegie, because he has a very interesting tale, and this is a man that didn't know anything about the steel industry.
That's true. He created a steel company around the turn of the century, 1900. Before that, and he brought together uh, the best people that created steel, from mining the ore up to selling the finished product. And he had 51 partners in his venture. And someone asked him, uh, "What's your job if you got all these people?" He says, "My job is keeping the fellas working together."
And keeping them from killing each other. I know.
Because I look at, you got the egos there, but you remind me of something. Oh, we haven't talked about this very much, but in thinking and results, this is about changing your thinking to change your results. And without going into details, it's a program for individuals as well as companies. So to have individuals uh, being happy, have a good home life, get along with their coworkers, that's one part of it. But the second part is the team teaching within a company. So now within the company, you have different departments. So you want to get your department aligned with the corporate goals, but at the same time, you can have people. You can bring people together from different departments.
Hmm?
You never
And
know where an idea will come from.
a lot of
So
times they
it's like
have,
having little mini master. You know,
yeah, they have
I
little
was going to say
master.
it's like a.
You're breaking up, Sid. Sorry, you're skipping a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I was going to say they're like mini masterminds
Hmm?
dealing with the same uh, a business, where there's also the mastermind that Ford had with Edison, Carnegie, and other people of that stature. That they all had a different product, but they were still dealing with the same management
Yeah.
issues in running the company. So I'm going to throw the ball back to you, John.
Well, and they kept learning.
Oh
You,
yes,
once you, just because you become an expert, you, I want to say that being an expert isn't necessarily, if you don't keep up with it, eventually you won't be the expert in the field. I mean, look at computers, for instance. If you didn't keep, if you just did something in high school and you didn't keep up with it, in 5 years it's going to be so different. You're going to have to learn it all over again. And so you have to keep up with the knowledge. You have to keep learning. You have to read articles concerning whatever your niche is. I mean, if it's whatever it may be, whatever you're looking for, if it's fishing, if it's race car driving. I mean, if you want to go south, up to Alaska and study polar bears, you still have to apply all of this knowledge, and you have to, in order to be successful, you still need to use all of these little steps that Sid and I have been talking about, because right now we're on the fourth step. And you still need to use these steps. You need to move towards that goal, and you need to keep moving towards that goal. I know we've talked about, putting one foot in front of the other. There's always, you got to constantly keep moving towards that. And learning is something that you never want to give up. I mean, I get fascinated with something and I really get into research, and I'm one of these people, I want to learn as much about it as I can, because when I talk about it, I want to talk about it in an intelligent way. I want to be able to explain what I'm doing simply and be able to move into this conversation and give something new to it and take something new from it. So you never
John,
stop learning. Yes.
you reminded me of another example
Mhm.
that I did, and this was a long time ago. I was fascinated by chess, and so I went and bought some books that had matches, world class grand masters from 1900, 1905, and they had every play. I get my chessboard out. I'm reading it. I'd make the moves and reading why they did it, what was happening. And what interested me in the chess that near my office, there was I'm not sure what they call it, but they sold tobacco, and they sold chess sets. And I would go on over there on my lunch hour, and people would be playing. And I was in a match one time, and the guy was playing left for a minute or two, and I told the people around me, "Well, I'm going to do this. He's going to do that. I'm going to do this," and checkmate. And he came back, and I made my play. He responded accordingly, and I went on to win the match, and the people around me were just really surprised. And I said, "Well, I've been studying so and so, and getting to use that information I got because I was studying."
And that brings up another aspect of being an expert in knowing what you did, something that you naturally did it, but you applied it. I used to
Exactly.
watch. I used to watch a cartoon when I was a teenager. Okay, I still watch cartoons. By the way, you guys are gonna have to understand that. But you can look this up on YouTube, just like Evil Knievel. When we talked about him a few weeks back, this cartoon's there. It's called GI Joe, and they always had this little. They went through this whole thing and dealing with Cobra and trying to defeat Cobra. But at the end, they always had like a PSA where they talked about a specific knowledge of something, whatever it may be, whether it's driving safely. If you're going to drive safely, and they would explain it in a very specific way in about 30 to 45 seconds, and then it would always end it in knowing is half the battle. Well, as a teenager, I'm like, okay, what's the other half? I didn't understand that until now. Well, the other half is application. If you can sit here and learn all this knowledge and be the smartest person in the world, and if you keep it all to yourself, what good is it going to do? It's not going to do you any
That's
good, right?
Yes, you reminded me of something else that Bob talks about. Uh, that we go to school, and they're teaching us a lot of information, and we take a test, uh, and we don't do any. They don't teach you what to do with it.
Right,
Schools did not teach you how to apply what you're being taught.
right. And the same thing happens in sales. I have been in sales for 40 years. This is the truth.
You must have been awfully young when you started.
And they always take us to seminars that teach us how to do a certain sales technique. The thing is, they don't teach you how to apply it so that it becomes part of who you are. And that's what we're trying to do with thinking into results, is we're trying to teach you how to make your goals part of who you are. That's why you use emotion. That's why you have faith. That's why you have to have continuous knowledge. That's why you have to apply the knowledge. If you don't follow these, you don't have to be a smart person to do it. You just have to be a person that's persistent and put all of this knowledge together and continue to move forward. Because if you have a PhD in something, but you never move forward with it, you're never going to utilize that knowledge that you have for good. And ultimately, we want you to understand that you can achieve all your goals, whether they're monetary or whether they're a personal goal, and you can do it without ever infringing on the rights of anyone else. You will have these ideas come to you. You will change your vibration. You will literally become the person, because you're going to think about this all the time. You're going to repeat this. And that's, you have to put a plan together by, that's what this is. It's 13 steps is a plan. You repeat it. You have faith in yourself, and you continually repeat this to yourself. You put emotion in it. You see yourself in that position. And with the knowledge, it's just another layer of knowing and in reinforcing that belief and having your subconscious go, this is my reality. Do you have anything to add to that, Sid?
No. John, you didn't use the word vibration, but the
well, I said I used frequency. Sorry,
what
I used frequency, not vibration. You're correct, but I used frequency, which is a vibration.
yes, and with the repetition, every time you're thinking about what you want, what your goal is, you're at the vibration of what you want. And I like to say the universe to get you what you want.
Absolutely.
But it's not a one-time off. No, this is a continuous thing of thinking about it. I like to say reading your goal in front of the mirror.
Let me ask,
with passion and unbridled.
Can I ask you a question, Sid? How many times have you done thinking into results? How many times have you taken the course yourself without doing anything? How many times have you taken it?
Dozens.
And every time you get the same result every time, or does it change?
No, it grows. I'm laying a foundation, and each time I go back to it, I'm seeing it a little differently.
Right.
When I watch our John, when I watch the videos that I've watched 30, 40 times, I fill a page full of notes. Not necessarily notes of what was said, but the thoughts that are triggered by what I'm listening to. Because I've got a base, and I like to say, when we're ready, the new thoughts come into our mind.
Right, and that's the point I'm trying to get across, guys. Is just because I've read Think and Grow Rich 20 times, I've read The Power of Positive Thinking at least that many times. I read these over and over again. These are the basis of what we believe. Would you agree, Sid?
Yes, I do, and I'm just looking at the time up there.
Yes, and so in closing, having specialized knowledge, you have to not only be laser focused on the knowledge that you want to learn that you can apply to accomplish your goal, whatever that may be. You need to meet with people, discuss it so you have new ideas come to you. It allows you to open up your mind or your vibrations or change your frequency so that things come to you, so that you realize that, hey, I just had an idea. Write it down. Always write it down. I'm constantly doing that. But apply the knowledge. When you get the knowledge, apply it. Just don't let it sit there. I mean, you're not going to build, and I'm going to end with this. You're not going to build a big roadster, this big, huge muscle car that's got 1,000 horsepower. You're going to take it out. You're going to drive it one time. You're going to park it in the garage and leave it. what's going to happen to it? It's going to sit there. It's going to rust. Nobody else is going to benefit from it. You're never going to benefit from it again. That's the way it works with knowledge. In order to benefit from the knowledge, you have to use it. You have to teach others how to use it, which helps you benefit even more from the knowledge. And if you want to talk more about how this works, I'm going to get to how you can get a hold of Sid and we can help you work towards that. And I'm just going to end with this. If you apply these steps that we're teaching you, you will accomplish your dreams. On that note, thank you for sharing your time with us. And to learn more, like I was saying, if you want to get in contact with Sid and I, you can email S&J Mentoring at sj-mentoring.com, which is on your screen there. Again, that's sj-mentoring.com. You can fill out a little contact form. One of us will get it. We'll get back in touch with you, and we'll be happy to show you and answer your questions. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps. It helps all the way around. And next week, we're going to have fun next week. We're going to continue our 13 Steps to Success series. We're going to talk about step 5, imagination, your childhood friend. Yes, sir. You want to say something?
No, I'm just smiling because I'm happy. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to my childhood friend.
That's right. But imagination is a big part of this too, guys. So at S&J Mentoring, remember, that's where we show you how to accomplish your dreams. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, John.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.